All right, take two. We already recorded this review, but the audio was not up to snuff, so we want to redo it for you guys. Shout out to the guy that we met outside the theater who recognized us from the channel. I think he said his name was something Weasel. I apologize. We were going to record this last night, and we couldn't get to it in time, and whatever. I don't know, but he talked to us outside. Very cool. Please comment below if you do watch this and say hi. He works at the theater right up the street, man.
Yeah.
Let's be best friends. All right, let's talk about Jimmy and Stiggs, the newest film from writer-director Joe Begos, who I have been a pretty big fan of for a while, all the way back to Almost Human. Then he made The Mind's Eye, then Bliss, then the awesome VFW, and most recently Christmas Bloody Christmas. I'm a fan of his work, and he was teaming up here with Eli Roth for this new production company called the Horror Section, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like very excited for this, and then a buddy of mine saw it, really enjoyed it. It was getting likened to Evil Dead 2 as well as Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, which is like my favorite zombie movie ever made. Not that this is a zombie movie, but it is the level of gratuitous gore on screen that they were saying this is like. And I was like, perfect. This is, I'm so on board with this. And I even turned to Kaylee when this started and was like, I think this is probably going to be in my top 10 of the year. That was before the movie started. I was guessing. I was just like, from everything that's set up here,
right,
with it being Eli Roth's new production company, he's giving kind of free reign to Joe Begos, who is a cool indie director that brings these really insane films to screen, very Grindhouse-esque. And I was like, this just has all of the makings. And a buddy of mine who I usually agree with on most things gave it like a 4.5 out of 5. I was like, this is a slam dunk for me, right? So there's something at the beginning. I'll save that because I'll talk about that at the end if somebody wants to know about that. Very cool something, but it's kind of a little bit of a spoiler, sort of, for anyone. So anyway, I'll bring that back up. But anyway, the movie starts. It's in POV.
Yeah.
Not the whole film, thank God, but probably the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10-15
minutes. It made me ill. Mm-hmm. I was not vibing with that style at all, and in fact, I was terrified that the whole film was going to be like that. Yeah. And I was like, if the whole movie is like this, I'll probably have to leave. I don't usually get sick. I've seen The Blair Witch Project did make me sick, though, on the big screen.
Yeah.
I will admit that one did make me sick. I couldn't handle the motion sickness of that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is about a guy named Jimmy who's a film director, and he has an alien invasion in his apartment, and his buddy Stiggs comes over, and they fight it together.
It's an alien invasion.
And that's pretty much the only plot to the film, because as you're about to find out, this movie is a tad repetitious, let's say. So, Kaylee, thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't have any of the expectations you did. I didn't even know what this movie was about going into it. And like we had talked about when we did our last review, I think that there is a lot of style to the film. I think that the gore and everything is very gratuitous and will make a lot of people happy. But the film itself just didn't work for me. One of the big reasons, aside from how repetitive it is the visual aspect of there's a lot of flashing lights and strobe lights and neon lights and just weird lighting stuff going on, which feels very disorienting intentionally, but if you've watched other reviews of ours, you know that I'm really sensitive to that type of thing, and I don't like it even in small amounts typically in films, because I find it to be kind of a lazy effect in general. And this film, it has it almost entirely throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't like that. It hurts my brain, it hurts my eyes. I have a hard time focusing on things. but the movie is very trippy and very psychedelic looking, and I think a lot of people will really love that. And I do think it looks cool. It's just not something that I really enjoy watching. And yeah, aside from, so the repetitive part is the dialogue and the setup for the story, which is just do a bunch of drugs and alcohol, fight aliens, fight each other, do more drugs and alcohol, fight more aliens. Like, it's over and over and over again. Nothing really changes, and the dialogue itself is very bad. It's just bad. It's a lot of like, fuck you, like that over and over and over again.
Yeah. The dialogue in this is absolutely atrocious. If you think that Rob Zombie writes trashy dialogue, then this is going to be absolutely the worst thing you've ever watched when it comes to that aspect. Because Joe Bagos stars in the film. And this was a project that he'd been working on for a while. This was shot in his apartment over years of time with his friends. And that's cool. And yes, they definitely deliver on, copious amounts of gratuitous violence. Now, that violence comes in the way of neon, Nickelodeon style kind of slime, the neon colored slime. If you were watching the Kids' Choice Awards and when they pull the thing and the green goo comes down on them, that's kind of what all of the gore in this movie looks like. There's no blood or guts or any of that kind of stuff. It's all just goopy neon paint. But the dialogue itself, they're talking the entire film. I don't think there's a quiet moment in the entire film. So they clearly had really no dialogue to say of any kind of value within the film, which is fine. You want to make a very surface level, very in your face experience. Fine, that's all good and well. I don't mind that type of stuff. But when every single other word of your dialogue that is constant, that is never ending, is the F word, you're just not saying anything at that point. And it just becomes exhausting, and it becomes stupid. I felt actually almost not embarrassed per se, but I felt like it was embarrassing because I was just sitting there listening to it, and the entirety of the film is repetitious. It is drink more liquor than a human body could possibly consume, snort more cocaine than a body could consume, smoke tons of... Did I say smoke? Snort.
No, snort and then smoke.
Yeah, smoke a ton of marijuana, and then, fight an alien, verbally fight with your friend.
Yeah.
And then loop that.
Yeah.
And do that for an hour and a half, which felt like 3 hours. Because when you're just doing the same thing repetitiously over and over and over again, and you have nothing to say, nothing is going to be different, nothing is going to change in any way, shape, or form, it just makes it a chore to sit through, because it's just this felt like a short, right?
Yeah, we were saying this would fit really well in a VHS segment.
Yeah.
Especially the POV stuff.
Yeah,
it
15 to 20 really minutes.
Well. But as a whole film, it just gets really boring. It's only an hour and a half film that feels like 3 or 4 hours. It feels so much longer than it is, at least for us.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are people, that amount of the drinking and all of that is, I think, it's supposed to be ridiculous. It's supposed, the movie isn't trying to be a serious, realistic film in any way. It is supposed to be over the top. So we're not missing that. We understand that that's the purpose, is to be kind of crazy. And there are people that love that it will work really well for them. And I think if the dialogue had been different, it might have improved the film for us. If there had been more stuff verbally happening, there's there's a dynamic between the friends and the fighting and bad blood and everything that would have been interesting to learn more about. And either whether or not they reach a resolution, but just knowing more about stuff, and it kind of is talked about, but also not really. I don't know. It just doesn't work for us.
There is zero depth to this film anywhere in any shape or form.
It's very much a style over substance type of movie. And I think that, we had said making this was probably a blast.
I'm sure
it was probably super fun, and as long as like if the creators and everybody that worked on it are happy, like I'm very glad. And I think that there's going to be a big cult following. I feel that this film could definitely get a lot of people into it.
Yeah.
So,
if you like repetitious films that are all about gratuity over any kind of depth, and you don't mind the repetitious nature of that, then this might work really well for you, which is great. I'm not throwing shade at anybody who enjoyed this experience. Not. I just personally found it to be too repetitious for my liking.
Yeah.
I can break down this entire film, and I dare someone to find a break from the formula.
Yeah.
It really is just drink, snort, smoke, fight, repeat.
Yeah.
And whether it's fighting with his friend verbally or fighting with an alien, and then just take a drink, take 15 drinks, take 45 drinks, whatever it may be, snort 10 lines of coke, smoke fucking, weed, and then kill an alien, curse a whole bunch. There's not I don't think, it might exist, I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm not sure there is a single line of dialogue that doesn't feature the F word once, if not 5 times. Literally, the samplings of the dialogue is stuff like, fuck you, fucking fucker, fuck, I'll fucking fuck you up, you fucking fuck.
And
that's literally, not exaggerating on that. That is literally the dialogue for the entire length of the film. And it never, ever ends.
That there are people that talk like that, especially if you're, really drunk and high.
Jesus Christ.
Right? I think that's, believable for the amount of intoxicants that are being put into their bodies. But
I don't care.
I will also say that this is kind of, I think, one of those scenarios where having a character who is cursing that much can be funny when the people around them are not. It's sort of like the straight man thing. When you have that one person that's not talking like that, talking more level-headedly, I suppose, but then you have a character that's just throwing F-bombs and being insane. I think that balance maybe would have also added something, if one of them was a little bit less psycho with that, but I don't know.
He even uses the same insult towards the aliens multiple times in a row, and it was just you guys didn't sit down after, when you're sitting there making a movie for what I had heard 4 years, you couldn't come up with more variety to even the insults that you're launching towards the aliens.
Sure, because that would have also been funny if there was a bunch of really ridiculous insults being thrown at them, and
but
you're
the same one 5 times in a row. It's this is just lazy at this point.
But maybe it is supposed to be very repetitive and feel, and everything mimics that. Maybe that's part of
it's supposed
the
to
intention.
It's supposed to simulate the drug experience of doing insane amounts of cocaine, drinking insane amounts of liquor, doing all sorts of drugs. I get that that's what they're going for, and I've drank as much as anyone in my youth, but and I get it. It's supposed to be exaggerative. No human is able to consume anywhere near this amount of liquor or do this much coke. I mean, they do literally 100 times more than a human could do in a night without dying.
Yeah.
And that's funny to a degree, but when it's just the same thing, where it's great, get a bottle, drink it. Get a bottle, drink it.
Yeah.
Put out some lines of coke, snort it.
Sure.
Fight an alien. And the action, all of that stuff is shot the same way. It's all done exactly the same. The way they run around, the way that they fight each other, verbally, the way they fight the aliens, nothing is interesting and different.
Yeah.
It's the same thing endlessly.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't even really like it that much to begin with.
Sure.
I don't really like the things that are going on that much. I don't think it's shot super well when it comes to the action sequences. I think the dialogue is horrendous, right? I think that the dynamic between them is extremely unexplored and underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, when you continue to do that, it's just like, I'm not really caring for the 5-minute loop you have to do that 15, 20 times in a row.
Totally.
It's like, I didn't like it the first time. I'm not going to like it the 15th time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, if you can improve upon your formula and then boil it down to a short segment that you put into a VHS or something, then you could have something cool here. Or you have to figure out how to add more variety, depth, something to the film.
Yeah.
To make it more interesting, to make it more engaging, to make it more funny and humorous.
Yeah.
But just, fuck this fucker, fuck, give me the booze, fuck, let's fuck this guy up, let's fucking go, fucker, fuck. It's like, oh my God, who wrote this?
Yeah.
Like a 12-year-old who finally started using the F word behind their parents' back?
Yes.
That's what it feels like. When you're when you're in like middle school and you finally start cursing.
Totally,
and everyone around you is just like, yeah, it's fucking thing. And they're trying to be adults.
Right.
And every other word out of their mouth is the F word. That's the dialogue in this film. That's probably where I hear the F word the most, is when I was like a 7th grader.
Yes.
8th grader, and everyone was just like, I'm so cool. And they're like going and trying to like smoke a cigarette and say, use the F word every 5 seconds to pretend like they're adults.
Children.
And it's like, adults don't talk like this.
No. Even,
we curse, but...
We curse a good amount, but...
No, nothing
like this. Nothing like this.
Anyway, all right, that's it. Now we're becoming repetitious.
Yeah.
Last thing we'll say here, or at least I will, sorry, don't mean to speak for you.
No, that's okay.
Is that this is like that spoiler thing that I said I'd bring up later. For any fans of the Grindhouse experience, the Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez Grindhouse movie, they had fake trailers for that movie, and they had fake trailers for this movie. Of course, this lines up because Eli Roth was involved, and he did the Thanksgiving trailer for the Grindhouse experience, and he brought it back here for this experience. I'm hoping that all of their films feature this. I'm hoping Dream Eater, the next found footage film in the horror section's catalog that's releasing sometime in October, I think, right? October?
I think so, yeah.
I hope that this is something that remains, because that was by far and away the best thing in the film.
They were really funny. They were very, very funny. 2
of them, and they were both very funny.
Yes.
I won't ruin anything about them.
No,
but
they were
loved
hilarious.
Those.
Yeah.
So that right there is what brought this up to like a 3 for me on Letterboxd, because I loved those fake trailers so much, and I laughed a lot. Our audience didn't laugh at those at all, though.
That's so funny. Yeah, we were both laughing during those because they're so silly.
They're super
so
fun.
Silly. But yeah.
Hopefully you love this.
I hope you loved it. Let us know what you think, though.
Check it out.
Yeah.
As something I don't think we mentioned here that we should have, because we're redoing this, but the best way to describe this film is like this. If Nickelodeon sponsored Rob Zombie to make a haunted house that you walked through that was like NC-17 or like 18 plus, and you were in like, you got to put on like a plastic poncho because you're going to be in the splash zone or slimed, right? Yeah. No, that's what it feels like. It literally feels like a haunted house, because they are stuck in the confines of an apartment and they're running from one room to the other. How it's shot, the like special effects on the aliens, everything felt like a fun house.
Totally.
That's so get drunk with your friends and go to the Nickelodeon Rob Zombie haunted house.
Yep.
That's what this felt like.
A completely accurate description.
Yeah. So there you go. If that sounds appealing to you and you don't mind repetition, If you like the first 5 minutes,
you'll like it.
If you're like loving
yes.
that, then you're probably going to love the movie. But if you're like, oh boy, is it really just going to be this the whole time? 100%. There will be no surprises. After the first like 10 minutes of this movie, you know exactly what you're about to watch looped. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Even the phone call from his girlfriend was very, like, I knew in that moment with the phone call that we were in for a long haul, because the shit she says was very cringy. Like, her dialogue on that phone call was like, oh boy. No, even his girlfriend talks like this? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Adios, guys.